out of place and very shy. But then I got excited and relaxed. A crowd gathered around us. They were taking pictures and cheering me on with applause. I liked being the center of attention. It turned out to be very cool. In the end, I managed to put on 160 t-shirts, and I looked like a round ball. In the evening, the guys edited the video and posted it on YouTube. The very next day, people had left a bunch of comments under it. The audience liked the video, but most of all, they liked me. They wanted me to be accepted into the team. Caleb, Rick, and Rose agreed and suggested we create content together. It was very sudden, but of course, I agreed. One day, we decided to film a breath-holding competition. We decided to film the video at the water park. There was a cool pool with a transparent wall and different levels of depth there. Caleb had just bought a new action camera that could be used underwater. We set it up in the pool and took turns diving. Rick went first, then Rose, and Caleb. The results were more or less the same. They lasted for about a minute and a half. I was the last one to dive. As a child, I had really liked to swim and often held my breath for fun, so it wasn't hard for me not to breathe for a long time. When I surfaced, I saw that Caleb had jumped into the water again and was planning to dive after me. We thought you fainted or something. You were underwater for 3 whole minutes. Psst, just 3? One day I had held my breath for almost 5. Everyone was very surprised by my ability. They looked at me like they were seeing me for the first time. All of a sudden, a man came up to us. He turned out to be the owner of the water park. His name was Mr. Jones. You would never guess what he suggested. My business hasn't been doing great lately. A second water park with extreme slides has opened in the city, and now people go there. I saw your videos on YouTube and watched you today. You're cool, and I have a business offer for you. Film a commercial for my water park and put on an unusual show here. I'll pay you well. We looked at each other, dumbfounded. Filming videos was our hobby, but we hadn't even thought we could earn money doing it. Of course, our videos were monetized, but we got very little money anyway. Naturally, we immediately agreed. Caleb recorded a promo for the pool video. He told our audience about the water park and asked them what kind of show they would like to see. A few days later, we read the comments and discussed the ideas. I saw an interesting suggestion. One subscriber had commented that she had once been to a store a real Barbie doll lived in. She suggested that we do something similar and build a house underwater. I had heard about a live Barbie too. However, that store had closed very quickly. Everyone liked the idea, but Caleb suggested switching it up a bit. Naomi should set a record for the amount of time spent in the pool. We'll focus on her feeling at home underwater. Mr. Jones liked our plan. He started preparing for the cool show where I was supposed to shine. I didn't tell anyone at home about my new hobby or the upcoming show. One day, I heard my parents discussing a show at the water park and realized they were going to be there. I couldn't wait. They would be so surprised to see me there. Finally, they would be proud of me and not Mandy. Speaking of Mandy, we hadn't spoken since the party. If we accidentally ran into each other, I pretended not to see her. On the day of the show, I felt terribly nervous. The team supported me as much as they could, but I lacked confidence, complained a lot, and even almost argued with Caleb. A lot of artists came to the water park. They performed on a special stage, and a crowd of spectators had gathered around it. However, as soon as the host announced that I was about to dive into the pool, all attention immediately turned to me. To make everything look more impressive, we had come up with something interesting. I picked up a weight, fastened a safety rope to my leg, and dove into the deepest part of the pool. I didn't just sit there, but tried to dance beautifully. Of course, moving made me run out of air faster, but I managed to stay underwater for over 2 minutes anyways. I surfaced, caught my breath, and went down again, then again, and again, and again. When I came up, the audience would clap loudly, and that encouraged me. I felt like a real star. I had never got so much admiration and attention before. After a while, I started to get tired, and Caleb said I should take a break. I swam to the side of the pool and suddenly heard the host's loud voice. And now, welcome the unsurpassed champion, the young master of sports in rhythmic gymnastics, Mandy Moore! I thought I had heard wrong. It couldn't be happening. What was she doing there? Had Mr. Jones invited her? I looked at the stage and saw my sister. What was worse, I noticed my parents, who were watching her performance nearby. They hadn't even recognized me, all because of my stupid mask. To say that I was angry would be to say nothing. That was it. I had had enough. I was going to show them what I was capable of. Ignoring my fatigue, I sank back under the water. I didn't even use the safety rope. I got to the deepest part of the pool and hugged my knees to my chest because I was getting cold. I would prove to everyone that I was the best. I wanted to set a new record for holding my breath underwater. Soon, I could no longer tell how much time had passed. I suddenly felt very sick. I had a terrible headache and my chest started to burn. I wanted to pull the safety rope and get help, but then I remembered that I had dived without it. I had no strength left, and I couldn't swim back up. I panicked, and everything went dark. When I came to, I found myself lying on a bed. My worried parents were leaning over me. Naomi, how are you feeling? When I said everything was fine, my parents suddenly started yelling at me. How could you be so stupid? Risking your life for something so stupid. Don't do anything else like that again. Do you understand? Take a cue from your sister. If it hadn't been for her, you wouldn't have been saved at all. I wanted to feel indignant, but I froze with my mouth open. Why was he saying I wouldn't have been saved? No one saw you dive except Mandy. When you didn't come up for too long, she interrupted the performance and jumped into the pool. She's the one who pulled you out. I couldn't believe it. I'd been sure that Caleb had saved me. However, when I called him, he confirmed my parents' words. We agreed to meet in the park the following day. I came to the place where we had met, walked up to the guys, and saw a familiar scene. The boys and Rose were sitting on a bench and filming some girl who was moving strangely. As I got closer, I suddenly realized that girl was Mandy. No, it couldn't be. She was trying to squeeze in through the racket. Unlike Rose, she was very flexible and she succeeded. Everyone immediately started whistling and applauding her loudly. Caleb didn't even notice me. It was like I was stuck in a nightmare, but that wasn't the worst part. It turned out that our subscribers wanted Mandy to become part of the team. The video with my dive had gained almost 1 million views, but it wasn't me everyone was discussing in the comments, but Mandy. More precisely, the way she had saved me. I was furious. I had tried so hard, almost drowned, and she got all the glory? I spent the day in a terrible mood and didn't talk to anyone. In the evening, I accidentally overheard Mandy and Caleb talking. Just imagine they were flirting. Caleb, doesn't it bother you that she has a boyfriend? Actually, Brian and I broke up. You would have known about it if you hadn't been acting like I didn't exist. Soon, I started to notice that Caleb was spending more time with Mandy than me. History repeated itself. The guy I liked had chosen Mandy over me again. But I wasn't about to give up so easily without first giving Caleb hell. Why are you acting like this? You liked me. Yes, I liked you, but that was in the past. Look at you. You're constantly angry and jealous, and your sister is cheerful, open-minded. She's a good person. Have you ever thought that you might be the problem and not her? His words really hurt me. I couldn't bear seeing him anymore and left the team. Nothing made me happy, and I felt really down. I spent my days at home, crying and watching stupid TV shows. One day, Mr. Jones called me. There were a lot of visitors in his water park thanks to our show, and they all asked about me. I want to offer you a job. You would change into a mermaid costume and swim in the pool. We'll even build a small underwater house for you. What do you say? I agreed without hesitation. I hoped that it would help me get my mind off things and pass the time. I wasn't expecting to like that type of work, but to my surprise, I did. I spent all my free time at the water park. I was admired, constantly photographed, and the kids were crazy about me. I was surrounded by so much positivity that eventually I felt better. I started smiling and enjoying life again. One day, I saw 2 girls through the glass. Judging by their identical clothes, they were sisters. One of them fell down and started crying, and the other helped her up and comforted her. It was so sweet that I felt like crying. Why couldn't Mandy and I get along? After all, we were family. I couldn't stop thinking about that scene all day. Maybe Caleb had been right, and I was the one at fault, not Mandy. I probably just wanted to blame her for all my failures, and I envied her. In the evening, I plucked up the courage, called Mandy, and invited her to a cafe. We sat there for several hours. I made myself swallow my pride and ask for her forgiveness. But Mandy covered my hand with hers. Sis, I'm sorry too. For Brian and for Caleb. I really didn't mean for any of it to happen. We made up and swore that we would try not to fight anymore, especially because of boys. I finally calmed down and even came to watch the team film videos sometimes. However, I did not star in them anymore. Things got better, but one day, Brian came to the water park. I wasn't expecting to see him and hoped he would leave soon. I even stayed in the pool longer than usual, but Brian waited for me anyway. Naomi, hi. My uncle asked me to talk to you. He's a professional diver and has recently opened his own school. He saw you in the pool and was very impressed by you. He wants to offer you free tuition at his school. I was shocked. Everyone had been talking about that cool school lately. Studying there opened up great opportunities, but I had no idea that its owner was Brian's uncle. Passing up such a chance would have been stupid, and I agreed. After that, I had to combine work at the water park with diving, but I liked it. The coach praised me, and I was the best student in my group. One day, there was an exhibition performance in our school. I didn't invite anyone, but to my surprise, I saw my parents in the audience. They watched my performance, and then they came up to me and hugged me tightly. "Naomi, we are so proud of you." I had been dreaming of hearing those words for so many years that I couldn't help but burst into tears. I'm fine now. I finally found myself and stopped envying